Hi guys, well, I hope you will hear me pretty well over the noise of the wind. I'm gonna be quick on the intro and then I'm gonna shoot several pictures about what I'm going to test and review from today on. Well, I don't know how much time it will take, but you have been several to ask me about an entry level bushcraft knife with the bushcraft shape but costing not too much. So I've been looking around a bit. I know some of you have requested me to review the Böker Plus bushcraft knife, and this is what I'm gonna do here and today. And I've received it really recently, and here it is. So it's basically a knife that I will call a bushcraft shaped knife, and well, I'm gonna test it, review it, and see how it performs for a very standard price, let me put it that way. So for people that want a knife that is shaped like a bushcraft knife, this is one alternative that I'm gonna try, and we'll see at the end how it performs, and yeah, if it's a good knife to get and to purchase. So let me just put everything the way I want it to, and I'm gonna show you the basic information and first some close-ups, so stay tuned. Okay guys, I'm just gonna let you enjoy the sunset. Before I talk more about the blade. Actually, while you are looking at the sunset, what I can tell you already is that the blade is 21.9 centimeters, as you've seen. The whole length. The blade is 10 centimeters and the overall weight is about 200 grams. The handles is made out of micarta, and yeah, the steel is 440C, which is not the best steel known to the world as of today, but it's, well, for that kind of knife and price. You also have a blade that is 3.7 millimeters thick, so these are the main specs. So now that the sun is away, I will reset my camera and try to shoot a bit more about that knife. Okay guys, so first thing, this is the sharpness out of the box. So it's totally cool with me. Okay, here I've made a spot without any hair. It's not a real Scandi grind. You have a secondary bevel, and it's 440C mirror polished. First thing is that it's a bit square on the handle, but it feels totally okay in the hand. So as I've said, it comes shaving sharp out of the box. So yeah, it's sharp, really sharp enough out of the box. It has a pretty long handle, so it will suit several types of hands, but it will suit mine perfectly. As you can see here, you can, because of the very small quillion, you can re-choke near the blade for very fine carving, so I'll test that a bit later on. And as I've said, it comes with a sheath and a necklace with bit balls, yeah, you know, the breakaway with bed chain necklace, machined aluminium, and the fire steel inside of it. So it's compared to the knife, knowing that the blade is 10 centimeters, yeah, it's about 11 centimeters long, so you could almost use that as a Kubotan, and you have a nice small compass on top of it, which points north, so that's nice. Okay guys, so the spine of that knife is pretty rounded. Probably enough so that you won't be able to strike a spark right from the back of the blade, or very hard to from the front portion just under the blade. Seems that you can, so this is a good thing to know. So you are able to strike fire steel without using the blade itself, which is something I really like. And anyway, you have with your fire steel a striker that is really light, with teeth, and yeah, so comes with a very decent fire steel. I mean, it's heavy, but as I consider fire being one of the priorities, I think it's great, because you buy a knife, with the knife you have a leather sheath, a nice leather sheath, a nice fire steel with a simple striker, a compass, and the knife itself that is shaped like a simple but tough bushcraft knife. Okay, so the spine is square enough to scrape the bark off. So this is already something that I find a great thing, because if you struggle to make feather sticks with the blade, you can always use the back of the blade to help you have some very fine shavings. Now, just gonna check how it performs when it comes to Okay, I'm gonna remove that because you will not see anything. Okay. Okay guys, this is not a scanty grind, and this is a pleasure to use. It's pretty amazing. It makes some very easily very fine shavings, so a true pleasure to use. And yeah, I'm really sorry, I was not waiting much. I was thinking it may be way harder to make feather sticks, but check that. I'm gonna try to focus a bit more. And okay, this is digital zoom, so I don't like it. You'll be forced to watch it that way. So check that. The shavings are really fine. I mean, I have a ton of curls. It's really easy to find the angle. It's pretty darn amazing. I have tested some knives that were way more expensive and could not do this that easy. So yeah, if you have to make feather sticks with that knife, you'll definitely be able to. Okay, so I want to see the performances of that knife for cross-cutting. Yeah, you perhaps wonder why I'm putting water. It's actually because it helps me to hold it very well and firmly. Usually I test my knives on smaller pieces of wood. Okay, so here what I can say is that it's still holding pretty well. It's a bit less razor sharp, but still sharp enough. I mean, it did take me a bit of time, and yeah, I should say that the handle, it felt a bit, the handle on here, of course, these are tests that I make. I usually don't use my knives that way, but I know some people do, and well, in the cross-cutting, chopping motion, it works. And actually, this part is a bit small, but I can really hold it well enough, and it's more comfortable to hit it with the thumb here than holding it that way, because it hurt a bit my hand here, but nothing too horrible. Yeah, it's a good surprise now, knowing that it still does cut pretty well. I mean, it's a really good sign. So, paper thin curl here. Yeah, it does the job pretty well. So now I'm just gonna prepare some of that wood to batten through and see how it performs in that manner. Okay, so let's see how it performs when it comes to battening wood. think this wood is a hard one and it pins a lot. But yeah, it does a nice job. Yeah, it still does cut pretty nice. I'm testing that right now just because in the past I have tested knives that just after going through one piece of that wood that is twisted on the inside and had their blade you know, furling over, and this is not the case with this one. I still have a good, actually I'm testing especially on the portion I have used to batten, and I don't know if you can see, but I can still have really decent feathers. So yeah, I'm more being pretty interested by the result myself than anything else. One thing I have noted, this is not the worst thing that could happen, but the blade is not 100% centered, but it's straight. I mean, the edge is really straight, and it's just a bit more on that side than on this one. It's not a problem actually. I have used it to cut apples and stuff like that, and cheese, and sometimes when it's too uncentered, you will see the knife going that way or the other way, and I was still able with the apples to cut, you know, straight, so it's not a problem at all. So it performs well when it comes to that, and now I will see if with some of these pieces of wood I can make a quick and easy figure 4 trap. Okay guys, so as you can see, Whittling went very well, and what I can tell you is that it's pretty comfy. For my hand, I have only one spot that is getting hot. It's actually here, because the handle doesn't feel 100% of my hand when I'm doing power cuts, so it folds my skin and pinches it, but I must say the comfort is great for such a knife. Whittling, I have made a mistake while making that, but it's not because of the knife, it's because of myself and not being concentrated and focused on what I do. But yeah, focused, because in French it doesn't mean the same. It does really well for whittling and small chores, so if you have to find yourself in a survival situation and need to make to secure food, you will be able to make a trap and secure food. It's comfortable to work with, and yeah, I really enjoy using it. You can really choke on the blade and get really close to it for very fine work. You can do push cuts with comfort as well. Yeah, it's a very nice knife. This is more the kind of uses I will make with a bushcraft knife, meaning finer work than really using battening it. But I'm really impressed with how this knife remains sharp. It really impresses. Leaves an impression on me. So until now, it's an excellent knife. Okay, so now about the handle. The handle is pretty comfy. It's not the best handle for my hand, which doesn't mean it doesn't fit yours, but it's a comfy knife for me. It's not the most comfy knife I've ever seen. When I have really dry hand, it's amazing how it's slippery, and with sanded micarta it holds a bit better usually, but now I'm just putting some snow, and we all know, or most of us know, that, see, and I'm actually not gripping it more. So this means with most of the liquids like water you may encounter in the wild, you will be able to keep a very secure grip with the knife. Perhaps I would have wanted the handle a bit more sanded and not that polished. It's not 100% polished, but it gets slippery if you have ashes on the hand, and actually you know, it dries your skin. You will perhaps find it a bit slippery or with dry earth, but it's it's black linen micarta or black micarta actually. It's it really works well with that knife. Yeah, the handles are great. It's really a design of what we all consider when we see it as a bushcraft design, and the handle is, yeah, it's pretty comfy. You have room to choke with it's not a finger choil, but it allows you just to put your knife before the blade, and you can also just grip it on the far side, so you have a comfortable handles. It's great handles. As I've said, not the best for my hands, but as we all know, knives are really depends on the person. But the finish is pretty nice. it's slick. It's yeah, it has been well polished. Everything is well adjusted. So nice handle. So the sheath, leather sheath, fold over kind. Have an eyelet on the bottom, 2 rivets plus stitching to hold the belt loop together. It works on pretty much all of my belt size I've had so far. As you can see, only by friction it holds the knife pretty well. At that price, remember it's a $50–$60 knife with a bushcraft style sheath, so it's great. It really holds well, and yeah, the sheath is really great for that price. It's an excellent sheath. I would perhaps have added a bigger drain hole, but well, it's a great sheath, and yeah, it works well. It's really a great sheath. Okay guys, so when I started this review, I told you this was an entry-level knife. Actually, when I've tested it, I've realized that this is not an entry-level knife. This is factory-made knife. It's an industrially made knife. It's a knife made in big series, but it's not the first knife you will use, or it's really a good knife. It's a factory-made knife. It's not a custom knife, but it's really great for the price. You have something that holds an edge. It's really easy to resharpen. What I've used to keep it sharp was that I have sharpened it twice or 3 times, but it holds a nailed edge. So this is the Direct's guided sharpening tool, but it works well with that knife. That knife keeps an edge in a pretty nice manner. I've been several times surprised, and I'm really happy about that. 440C, it's not the best steel, but actually what I'm considering right now is using that as the knife for my students, because compared to Maura's knife, you have more heft, you have more feel in the hand than just plastic. So it's really a great knife. It does almost every task super well. It's not real Scandi grind, you have a secondary bevel, but all in all, this knife, the Böker Plus Bushcraft Knife, coming of course with a fire steel. You have a package that I've shown to experienced bushcrafters, and they have told me they were impressed about the quality for the price. So at $60 you have a knife that is excellent for bushcraft, and I'm considering getting more of these for my classes, for one of my projects, and also to have always in my car a bushcraft kit that I'm not worried about. This is a go-to knife that I will probably use when I'm going to other countries where it might be taken from me. I would not cry if this one gets stolen from me, or I have to, I lose it, or for any reason, because it's not a very expensive knife. But for the price, you have something that is really workable. I haven't tried to modify the edge for a real Scandi, but out of the box it performs really well for most tasks. And as I said, for $60 you have the basics you need for bushcraft, plus a leather sheath that holds well, linen and the micarta handle scales that holds pretty well. 440C blade that is pretty amazing when it comes to bushcraft tasks. And I say it's not the best steel ever, but I'm really surprised. It was a surprise. This review was a surprise for me, and I shouldn't move that way with the knife in the hand. It was a surprise because it's not often that you have a knife of that quality for that price that is a great performer. So you have a full kit. If you get into bushcraft, if you want a secondary or backup blade that is not too expensive, you should consider and perhaps try this one. It's not for everybody because of the handles, but it's really, yeah. The only thing I can say is it's a surprise. It's not an entry-level knife. It's a factory, huge series knife, but it's a good knife and a good bushcraft knife for any person going into bushcraft, wanted the whole kit for not too expensive, or for any person wanted a secondary knife, or you know, a knife for traveling that you don't mind losing. It's a great knife. So $60, leather sheath, Makata handle, 440C blade, pseudo excuse me, fire steel enclosed in a textured handle, a gadget compass that works with a scraper. You have everything you need to get into bushcraft, and yeah, I really enjoyed using that knife. So, well, if you have any question, feel free to ask, but only thing I have to say is that I have tested knives about 3 times the price that did not perform that well. It's under $100 and you have a full pack with a fire steel and everything, so really, yeah, I tell the same thing 2 or 3 times, but it's really a surprise for me. And yeah, so guys, thanks for watching, see you soon, and yeah, ask any question if you have. And I'm gonna get home because it's getting super cold, so thanks for watching and see you soon. Cheers.